Red light. Hello everybody, and welcome to our Rent Increase 2023 question and answer session. Now for introductions. My name is Samantha Hoff and I am the Customer Participation Officer, and I'm joined today by Rebecca Davidson, who is the Customer Service Manager, and Judith Sutherland, the Director of Housing. Before we dive into our questions, I just would like to give an overview of why we are putting together this video. Firstly, thank you for watching this Q&A session, which again this year focuses on the rent increase. We want to use this session to review questions and discussions that we've held with our interested tenants through our focus groups that we held in December, which is just a couple of weeks ago. Therefore, we want to touch on budget preparation, new legislation, affordability, what support is available, and our formal tenant consultation in 2023. The format of the session will be myself putting questions to Judith, and then nearer the end, Rebecca will talk about what financial help Langstane can offer, along with our new partnerships, and a little on the role of our tenant welfare advisor, David Campbell. This has all come about through our involved tenants. Your views are important to us, and we would love to see more tenants get involved, helping us shape our services, as it's so important. If you are interested in learning more about customer participation, which is what my role is mainly about, please get in touch with me. You can find contact details under the Get Involved tab on our website at www.langstane-ha.co.uk. So without further ado, we're going to go to our question and answer session, and at the end, Rebecca will answer the final question, which will cover a little bit about support. So over to Judith for the first question. Question number 1. The Scottish Government is saying that rents are frozen because of the cost of living crisis. Does this mean you cannot increase rents this year?
Thanks, Samantha, and hello everyone. So, under the legislation, the Scottish Government has applied a cap on any rent increase, and this is currently set at 0. In other words, rents are frozen and cannot be increased until the 31st of March 2023. The Scottish Housing Regulator has advised housing associations to continue to consult with tenants. The Scottish Government will make an announcement on the 14th of January 2023 on whether or not the cap will be raised. As housing associations usually look at a rent review from the 1st of April every year, the freeze hasn't impacted on tenants' rents at the moment.
Tenants on Facebook have said their rent is not affordable. How can you increase rents when you know this is an issue?
So inflation we know inflation is very high. It's currently sitting at 10.7%, having reduced slightly from 11.1%. And I understand that this is a real worry for tenants with such a high cost of living. So every year we look at the affordability of our rents and any proposed increase. This measures, and it's based on a living wage, what income is left after rent is paid. Research states that you should only pay around about 30% of your income on housing costs alone. So this research comes from Shelter and also from organisations like the Roundtree Foundation. So our rents are currently within this threshold. I know that some tenants will be on less than a living wage, for example, a minimum wage, or you may be a pensioner, and we try to model our affordability for everyone. So anyone on a minimum wage who is under 23 years of age, for example, the rent will be a struggle, but you may be eligible for benefits, for universal credit, for housing benefit to top up your income. And pensioners may be eligible for pension credits if they are struggling. If anyone is struggling to pay their rent, we have a tenant welfare advisor, David Campbell, who can help assess your income and see if you're entitled to any help.
How do you arrive at the rent increase figure?
So every year we have a plan for our budget. So the first thing that we do is gather in what we need to spend in the coming year. We need to work out how much we spend on repairs, new kitchens, bathrooms, windows, and other things like loan repayments that we have and staffing costs. There's a continued focus on health and safety with smoke detection, electrical safety inspections and fire risk assessments that we have to carry out. We tender for a lot of these services to ensure we're achieving value for money, balanced with ensuring quality. At the same time, we look at affordability. We try to keep any rent increase as low as possible while covering our costs. Costs have increased though, and materials for repairs, for example, have risen in line with inflation. So it's a mixture of things. So we have to look at our budget for next year, what our costs are going to be. We have to look at affordability for tenants. We also do a bit of benchmarking against other organisations to make sure that our rents aren't out of kilter with other organisations. So it's a group of things that we do, and then we put a plan of what we're going to do in terms of the rent increase out for consultation.
What difference does it make? You don't listen anyway.
We very much care what the tenants say, and all feedback, including those who have made comments on Facebook, are submitted to our board. The board decide on what rent increase is applied after considering all the information. So yes, we absolutely take tenants' feedback into consideration, and we do listen to what tenants say.
Thank you. Some services being charged for aren't being carried out to the right standard. For example, the cleaning.
So we've recently tendered for our cleaning services and also our gardening services. And we want to get value for money, but we also want to get quality for tenants. Let us know immediately if you're aware of any issues. We will ask one of our estates assistants to inspect the communal area, and they will discuss with the cleaning supervisor if necessary. So what the estates assistants do is they take photographs of any of the concerns, speak to the cleaning supervisor or the gardening supervisor, and we would try and remedy as quickly as possible if something isn't up to standard.
Thank you. What are you doing to help the tenants during this cost of living crisis?
Thanks, Samantha. I'll take this one. So throughout this year, we've really tried to think about how we can provide as much support as possible to our tenants, because we know that things have been really difficult. As Judith touched on earlier, inflation did reach 11.1% just a couple of months ago. So the first part of that was really to look at what kind of information we could provide to our tenants. And we did that by way of our financial newsletter, which was published in October. On the financial newsletter, there's quite a lot of basic but really powerful information as to how you can make sure that the money coming into your household and the money going out of your household is all accounted for, and that you're getting what you need. The next part of that was our application that we made to the Scottish Government Fuel Support Funds, and we were really lucky that we managed to secure £61,000 worth of funding. And part of our bid to the Scottish Government was to partner up with SCARF, who are a brilliant local charity who provide home energy advice across the North East. Now, the first part of our project in spending this £61,000, although it sounds like a lot of money, will probably go quite quickly. So the first part of our project is to help 105 of our tenants who have currently got their gas capped. And what that means is that they've had the gas supply to their property turned off. We want to uncap their gas supply and bring their meters up to an even keel, so that over Christmas and the winter months that they can actually afford to heat their home and not be struggling with the debt that was on their meters. The second part of that project is really looking at our wider tenant base and referring people on to SCARF who could use some home energy advice, whether that be about their bills or whether that might be about draft excluders and other home energy saving tips. So we're really delighted that SCARF have agreed to work with us, and we know that it will help people certainly heat their homes over the winter months. This next part of that was our partnership with Aber Necessities, who are a brilliant local charity who help families who are struggling to provide goods for their children. Now, Aber Necessities can support families and children up to the age of 18, and 32% of the families living in our properties were already in 1 month of arrears when we joined forces with Aber Necessities, and we've had some great success referring people onto them so far, with the services and goods that being provided that really valuable for the people that need it most. The last part of this is CFINE, who, again, another brilliant organisation who are traditionally known as a food bank. But CFINE can offer also a number of services, such as back to work schemes. They offer a pantry service, as well as kind of local food banks across the Northeast. And we're really lucky to be partnered up with them to be able to refer some of our customers on so that they can receive that additional help when they're struggling the most. We're also really fortunate that, as Judith mentioned earlier, we have an in-house tenant welfare advisor who can help our tenants make sure that they're receiving the right income and make sure that they're getting everything that they're entitled to. So David can help our tenants with that, and you can be referred into David at any time during your tenancy. And we also have our housing support team who we're really lucky to have and make a real difference to some of our most vulnerable tenants. Again, you can be referred into our housing support team at any time, and they can provide you with low-level housing support and signpost you onto relevant organisations. So we are trying to make these times as easy for our tenants as possible.
Thank you. Thank you so much, both Judith and Rebecca, for joining me to address some of the issues that our tenants want to know about. Thank you to our involved tenants for attending the focus groups that we held, and in the future for involved tenants getting together with us and making this kind of thing possible and giving us the material to work with. Thank you for watching, and please note the formal consultation will be open from the 15th of January 2023 until the 3rd of February 2023, so there's still an opportunity for you to give us your opinions. Please either use the SurveyMonkey link in your email or return the slip with your letter in the free post envelope. All comments, as already mentioned, are passed to our Board of Management for consideration. If you have any feedback on this video, please email info, so that's info, @langstane-ha.co.uk. Thank you very much.
Thank you.